combination of the three, architecture, the Mayas developed architecture. As a matter of fact, right now that you are mentioning this, the Mayas is the only culture in the world that got to develop 9 different styles of architecture. 9. And with different other details that are impressive. The other combination, mathematics, yes, the Mayas developed their mathematics and their astronomy. But the combination of those three, what was the purpose? You have a clue. Huh? The years?
To leave Earth.
To leave Earth. Oh. To go back to Mars. Not really. The Mayas did understood astronomy. But the combination of these sciences was these three is exactly. Mathematics, astronomy, and architecture was developed for what? For
time and space.
My friend, time. You got it. You're not gonna make an exam. That's what the Mayas wanted it to understand. Los Mayas trataron de entender el tiempo. Imagine, this was complicated for that time. You see, this is the difference of these cultures. Esta es la diferencia de las culturas. Los mayas querían entender el tiempo. And you know what? Mayas conquered time. And this is what I'm going to explain or try to explain to you. Is that okay? Los mayas sí entendieron el tiempo y conquistaron el tiempo. Amigos, as I was telling you, yes, the combination of the three sciences, mathematics, astronomy, and architecture, was to understand time. Mathematics, the Mayas had their number 0. Yes, it's great. But the most important thing of having the number 0 is to know how to use it in the right position to count for millions. Do you agree? That is what the Mayas did. Okay? En matemáticas, los mayas sí tuvieron la representación del 0, pero lo más importante es que lo supieron utilizar en la posición exacta para contar por millones. Y eso es lo que hicieron los mayas. The Mayas realized that we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. For that reason, their system of counting was of 20s, not by 10 like us. A bigesimal system of counting. Is that understood? En las matemáticas mayas, los mayas se dieron cuenta que tenemos 10 dedos de las manos y 10 dedos de los pies. Por esa razón, su sistema de conteo era vigesimal, de 20 en 20, no de 10 en 10 como nosotros. Okay? When the Mayas developed their mathematics, then they developed astronomy. Después de las matemáticas, los mayas desarrollaron astronomía. They started counting the cycles of the planets. Can somebody tell me how many days is the cycle of the moon? ¿Alguien me puede decir cuántos días tiene un ciclo lunar? How many days, amigos, is the cycle of the moon? I heard 30, but who said it? Who said 30? You said 30? You said 30? Raise your hand, no problem. You are very close. I'm going to give you 2 points.
I just don't want to do the exam.
Okay. 30 is very, very close. 28. See, you got 5. 28 días. 28 days is the cycle of the moon. Amigos, the Mayas related the moon with the woman. The women goes through a cycle every 28 days. Los mayas relacionaron a la luna con la mujer porque la mujer pasa por un periodo o un ciclo cada 28 días. Okay? Then the Mayas started to understand the cycle of the sun, and this is more complicated to explain, but I'm going to give you a great example. Is that okay? Después los mayas empezaron a entender el ciclo del sol. Y esto es más complicado de explicar, pero les voy a dar un ejemplo muy importante. The example is that Mayas had tall buildings that were above these trees. That was to be close to their gods. But some of them were used as observatories. Algunas construcciones mayas eran más altas que la selva, que los árboles de la selva. Eso era para estar cerca de sus dioses. Pero algunas de estas construcciones altas eran observatorios. Okay? So let's focus at the top of this temple, tall temple of the Mayas. A Mayan astronomer would observe where the sun comes out from. Only from a tall building you can see that. Is that understood? So if he has a point of reference, he will understand by observing the sun every day at the same time when it comes out, that the sun moves to the north and then it comes back. Did I make myself understood? Because when the Mayas understood that when the sun becomes or comes out to the furthest point to the north and then it starts coming back, is when the rainy season starts in this area. And that is the beginning of understanding time. Did I make myself understood, amigos? Quiero que sepan que si nos enfocamos en un astrónomo maya en la parte superior del templo, puede observar por dónde sale el sol, y si tiene un punto de referencia va a observar que el sol se mueve, cada día sale moviéndose al norte y luego regresa. ¿Entendido? Los mayas entendieron que cuando el sol sale en el punto más alejado al norte y empieza a regresar, es cuando la temporada de lluvia comienza en esta región, y ese es el inicio de entender el tiempo. ¿Está bien, amigos? Was this understood, amigos? This is an example. Okay, now they understood seasons. Is that okay? Well, the Mayas became so good in astronomy that they did not only understood the cycle of the moon and the sun, they observed the 5 planets that we can see from Earth: Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, and the planet Venus. Is that okay? Only with different names. Quiero que sepan que los mayas pudieron observar los 5 planetas que se pueden ver desde el planeta Tierra: Júpiter, Marte, Saturno, Mercurio y el planeta Venus. I'm gonna tell you how good the Mayas got in astronomy. Les voy a decir qué tan buenos llegaron a ser los mayas en astronomía. For the Greeks and Romans, they observe one planet that appears as the first star of the morning, and that another one appears as the first star of the evening. For them, they were considered gods, and they had a name for each one. The Mayas observed that it was not 2 planets, it was one making a cycle. It was the planet Venus. The planet Venus appears as the first star of the morning for a period of time, and then it disappears for another period of time, and then it appears again as the first star of the evening. The Mayas understood that the cycle of the planet Venus is of 584 days. In 3,000 years, they only had an error of 1 day, and that's not bad, and that is 1 point for the Mayas. Thank you. Amigos, quiero que sepan que para los griegos y los romanos, ellos observaron que un planeta aparecía como primera estrella de la mañana y otro como primera estrella de la noche. Para ellos eran dioses y tenían un nombre para cada uno. Para los mayas no era así. los mayas se dieron cuenta que no eran dos planetas, sino uno solo, haciendo un ciclo. Era el planeta Venus. El planeta Venus aparece por un periodo de tiempo como primera estrella de la mañana, luego desaparece y luego vuelve a aparecer como primera estrella de la noche. El ciclo del planeta Venus es de 584 días y en 3000 años tuvieron un error de un día, y eso no es nada malo, ¿ok? Así es que ese es un punto para los mayas. ¿Entendieron, amigos? Ok. Now that you understood that the mathematics, astronomy, and also part of their architecture was to understand time, the Mayas had a combination of mathematics, astronomy, and parts of our body to design their calendars. Quiero que sepan que los mayas utilizaron una combinación de matemáticas, astronomía y partes de nuestro cuerpo para diseñar sus calendarios. Are you going to help me to count, amigos? ¿Me van a ayudar a contar? Because I will explain you how they design their calendars. The Mayas realized that we have two ankles. Los mayas se dieron cuenta que tenemos dos tobillos, two knees, dos rodillas, two bones that connect with our legs, dos huesos que conectan con nuestras piernas, dos hombros, two shoulders. How many do we got? Two, 4, 6, 8. Two elbows, dos codos. 10. Two wrists, dos muñecas. 12. One neck, un cuello. 13, right? How much is 13 times 20? ¿Cuánto es 13 por 20? 260. 260 days, first Maya calendar design of 260 days. Is known as the ritual calendar of the Mayas. Very important. In a few minutes, I will tell you what it was used for. The ritual calendar of the Mayas. Then, quiero que sepan que 13 por 20 son 260. Es el primer calendario maya que se desarrolló. Es el calendario ritual de los mayas de 260 días. ¿Entendido, amigos? Then the Mayas realized that we have a mouth that is 14. Two holes on our nose. That is 16. 2 ears. 18. How much is 18 times 20? 360. The solar calendar of the Mayas was designed of 18 months of 20 days. That makes 360. And Mayas added one more month of 5 days. Bad luck days, terrible days. Nobody used to go out of their house. They would be praying inside their house. There was human sacrifice. So just bad days. So in total is 365 days, just similar to our calendar. ¿Ok? Quiero que sepan que 18 por 20 son 360. El calendario solar de los mayas se diseñó de 18 meses de 20 días y un mes más de 5 días. Estos 5 días eran días malos para los mayas, días de mala suerte, para hacer el total de 365 días solamente similar al de nosotros. Why did I say similar to ours, amigos? Do you know who has the most important calendar of the world now? ¿Por qué digo que solamente similar al de nosotros? ¿Alguno de ustedes sabe quién tiene el calendario más importante hoy en día en el mundo? Do you know who has the most important calendar of the world?